In this video, we're going to talk about the jQuery UI website. So jQuery provides multiple things, not just jQuery itself. If you're on the jQuery website and you click the little icon here, you get jQuery UI, jQuery user interface. And basically this site provides tons and tons of widgets, different effects, different utilities, and different interactions that you can use on a web page. So we're going to look at a few of these. I just showed you that page. We looked at widgets, themes, interactions, and effects are the things you can get from jQuery UI. Primary folders and files. If you do the full jQuery UI download, you will get all these folders and these files, these CSS files, JavaScript files. You'll need all of those. However, that's a lot of stuff and you might not be using it all. So you can build your own jQuery user interface download. So on the home page, you can click the down link in the navigation bar or the custom download button, and that will take you to the download builder page. Then you can go through and select the things that you actually want to use, so you don't have to load them all. You can select a theme for your download, and then you can download a custom package. So jQuery UI lets you customize what files and things that you want from their page. So here I am on their page, and I can click custom download over here. And it tells me what version do I want. I can pick my version. Maybe I don't want the latest. Maybe I'm using jQuery 1.7. I can pick this one. Notice some of these things down here. So if you watch 1.8 support, it changes. So certain things will only work with certain versions. But I can come down here and say, what things do I want to include? What don't I want to include? Do I want all these widgets? Well, if I'm only using the accordion widget, so when I'm uncheck some of these, it's going to tell me, hey, other things rely on that, and it'll remove those too. So I can remove all the widgets. Maybe I only want the accordion. All right, I can just turn on the accordion. Maybe I'm not going to use a bunch of effects, but I do want the fade effect. Okay, so I turn on the fade effect and notice it automatically turned on effect score because I need that too in order for the fade effect to work. Interactions. I don't want any interactions. So I can customize it, and then I can select a theme, or I can design a custom theme, and you'll have to do some research to figure out what theme you might want. So maybe I want the pepper grinder theme for mine, and I can click download, and it will automatically create a package of CSS and JavaScript that only includes those things that I need. Alternately, I could take the whole thing if I want to. Just remember, it takes up more space to do it all. A lot of times, we don't want people to have to download everything, so we only get the things that we need. All right, to include the downloaded files in your application, once you get them downloaded, you will have to include, here's a style sheet for jQuery UI .min. So it will come with that style sheet. You'll have to put it in this folder. Actually, it'll be in that folder when you download it, and you'll have to make sure that folder with that file in it is included on your web server. You'll also have to load the scripts. Obviously, jQuery is going to get loaded first, but then there's jQuery UI-1.12.1, jQuery UI min.js. So include the jQuery UI file after jQuery, and then script the element for your own code. Remember, you're almost always going to have your own JavaScript too, and that should follow the rest of those. Okay. Not much different than the other plugins we've seen so far. Import your CSS, import your JavaScript file. So here's one of the popular ones, accordion. If you've seen my website update lately, I'm using accordion a lot. Although I don't think I use jQuery. I'm using Bootstrap's version of accordion. Bootstrap is another JavaScript. Bootstrap includes another JavaScript library. It used to use jQuery. It's got its own now. But accordion is the same function. I click on section 1 and it shows me the stuff under that. If I click on section 2, section 1 might close and section 2 will open up, depending on how you have it set up. So jQuery UI documentation on the left sidebar, click a widget to display its documentation. So if we go over to documentation, if I want to know how to use one of these things, say effects. I don't want to do effects. Let's look at methods. UI core. I can click anything in the documentation. It will tell me how to use it. How do I do themes? Here it is. It tells me how to do it. Here's my utilities. Here's my widgets. There's the accordion widget. I click on it and it goes through me and it shows me some markup. I need pairs of headers and content panels structured like this. A div ID called accordion with an H3 with a header, a div for the content panel that comes underneath it. And it tells me exactly how to do it and what to put on it. It gives me example code. If I want to do theming, what do I need to do to get it to match a certain theme? So all the documentation is included on their website. You can also click on examples. So here's an example of a jQuery UI accordion that you can use. You could copy this, test it out, substitute your own content in for it, and make it work. It's a demonstration of how to use that accordion. Okay. Again, for accordion, I needed a folder with images, the file. I needed the jQuery UI and the jQuery JS files, and my own style sheet too. For using a widget, what do we need to do? We need to use a selector. We have to call the widget's method, whatever is specified in the documentation, and we have to set the option settings. We saw examples of that in the last video with some of the other widgets that we were looking at. So here's an accordion widget, jQuery FAQs. We did that from scratch. This is using the built-in jQuery UI version. Here's the HTML for it. We have a bunch of H3s, and each one has content in a div underneath each heading. Okay, the div ID in this case is accordion. So in document ready, we say accordion.accordion, which is the jQuery UI method for the accordion. And then we specify the options that the documentation have told us we need to use. Event mouse over, what happens when we mouse over it, highlight style, or excuse me, height style. In this case, the height for each one of those is set to the content height, but there's other options. Is it collapsible, true or false? Here's an example using tabs. So tabs is a popular one. So you can get more than, you could use a single page and have these tabs set up to hold more content that you could fit on the page by itself. There's a general rule in web design. You don't want to scroll more than about 3 screen heights. This lets you put 3 screen heights without scrolling at all, because I can click on a different tab, and when I click on that tab, the content here will change. So here's their tabs widget. It says specify it, do it like this. Here's the example code. ID equals tabs, an unordered list, href equals tabs 1, tabs 2, and tabs 3, and that has the headings it looks like. And then down here, we have the div for each one of those pieces of content. And then all we have to do is say tabs we're getting that ID that we set up here, and we're running this tabs method that is built into that jQuery UI. Very minimal code in order to make those tabs work. And that's it. Your assignment is to do one of these things. Put an accordion, or put in a tabs, or put in one of the other plugins options. Read the documentation, stick in the CSS and the scripts that you need, and use their example code to implement one of these things on your website.